So hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be walking you through a step-by-step process on how you can integrate Django and React. And of course, this is not another to-do application. We're going to cover everything from authentication and also how you can structure your React components. So just to give you a quick sneak peek of what we're going to build today, we are going to have this home page over here that is going to list all the movies. Then I'm also going to add a section here that is for the latest movies. And also for the authentication, we're going to have a section where a user can be able to log in and create an account. So let's go ahead and create an account. So you can add your email. So I'm just going to say test user@gmail.com. Then for the password, I can just set any random password. Then I can be able to create an account, and you can see that I'm being warned that the passwords don't match. Then if I confirm them again, you can be able to create an account. And now the account will be created, and then I will be redirected to the login page. And now with the user that I've just created, I can be able to log in using the account. So let's log in. So upon logging in, I'll be redirected back to my profile here, where you can see the test user as well as the role. That is it for the authentication. We can also log out of the application, then we'll be redirected back to the login page. So that is the project that we are going to build. I will walk you through everything from setting up your Django application and also creating your React app. But I just want to mention that this is not for absolute beginners. If you are completely new to Django, I have videos here in this channel which you can go ahead and watch, get your feet wet, then come back to this video. As well as React, there are a lot of channels in YouTube as well as other premium courses in Udemy and other platforms where you can just take some courses and then come back to the video, and then we can be able to integrate Django and React together. So that's it for the introduction. Let's go into the code and be able to see the structure of the application. So this is my project folder. This is how it's structured. I have one big directory called DJ React, that is Django and React. Then inside it, I have a backend folder, an env folder, as well as a frontend folder. So that is how the project is structured. I'm going to leave all the GitHub link for this repository so that you can check it if you just want to see the structure, or maybe copy the code and modify it to be able to add some features. So the backend folder is going to hold our Django code. We're going to go through the backend folder first, then later we'll come back to the React application. Then I'll show you how you can structure the React too. So let's open the backend folder. So inside the backend folder, I have three main applications. That is the accounts app that is going to handle the user authentication and authorization. We have the media folder for the static files. The movie flicks is the name of the Django project, as well as the movies app that is going to be responsible for handling all the movie models as well as the serials. And then we have the movies app that is going to be responsible for handling all the movie models as well as the serializers for the movie. So we have the movies app, which is going to be responsible for all the movie logic as well as the reviews. The reviews, we are not going to use it just yet, but in our next video we'll be able to add some reviews. So our focus mainly is going to be in the accounts app as well as the movies application. Then I do have some requirements.txt here, so you can just go ahead and install them. When you want to try out the project, just go into the requirements.txt and install all those dependencies. Now to begin with, first need to take you through the accounts application. So inside accounts, we do have an API folder that is going to be setting up our API endpoints that is going to be consumed by the React frontend later. Then we also have models that is going to be for our custom user. So I'm using a custom user here because we need to create a user with the email, not the default username. So this is our custom user model. Then we do have our admin for registering the model, as you can see. Then inside API, this is where we are going to do the bulk of the work. So inside my API model, I do have a directory for serializers as well as another one for views. So in this case, we are using Django REST frameworks to be able to serialize our models in a format that React can be able to consume them. So we are having serializers as well as the views. So serializers is what is going to be able to serialize our models and convert them into a format, into JSON format that the React can be able to consume. So let's look at the serializers folder and explore some of the files that we do have. So we have three main files, that is the login.py, profile.py, as well as register.py. So those are the three main files that you're having over here. Let's look at the login module and see what we have. So inside the login module, we just have the login serializer that is going to serialize the email field as well as the password. Then we are validating the email just to strip out any extra space, and then we're also setting the password. Then we're also checking if the user exists here. If it doesn't, we're just going to throw in some error. Then we also authenticate the user using the authenticate method. So that is it for the login serializer. Let's go ahead and look at the register serializer. Once again, the register serializer is what is going to be used to be able to serialize the registration of the user. So it's just going to convert all these fields into a format that React can be able to consume them. So we do have the ID, the email, as well as the password field. So that is it for the register serializer as well as the profile serializer. So that's it for the accounts application. We do have the API folder, the models, and one thing that we haven't covered is the URLs. Of course, we need the URL that is going to be our endpoint. Okay, so if you just scroll down here, inside account, we do have a urls.py, and as you can see, we have the path for register, login, and profile. And with that, we are good to go with the accounts application. Now let's go ahead and look the movies application. So the movies application is where all those movie models and also serializers as well as views will go to. So inside our application, we're going to go to the movies. Then as you can see, we do have a model that is going to have the user, the title, the slug. Slug is really important when you don't want to use IDs. I think it's much better if you have slugs instead of ID into your URL. So that's why I've just added slug here as a slug field, and remember to import that from the top so that you override it in your save method, so that you don't have to type the title as well as the slug. So every time you are saving a new movie, the slug will be automatically generated. So that is something that is really important to do, since it's the slug that you're going to be using to identify the movies. When you want to go to the movie detail page, we will be using the slug instead of the IDs, as we will see in a few inside our React components. So that is it for our movie models. The next thing that we want to focus on is the API. So inside our movie API, we do have serializers as well as the views. So right now I don't have I just have one serializers file that is going to serialize the model. As you can see, we're just importing the movie model, and then we're just serializing all the fields. Then once that is done, we can now import these movie serializers into our views so that we can work with it. So let's go over into our views.py module, then have a look at what's going on. So the first thing is there to set a query set. This will just return all the movies inside our model. Of course, you can set some filters, but for right now I just want to return all the movies. And also the serializer class, we need to pass that. It's the movie serializer that we just created. The permission class, okay, you can set different types of permissions. For this case, I'm going to go with the is authenticated read only. You can also set your custom permissions. You can also set to allow any, but that is dangerous. To protect your views, you need to set something like is authenticated read only, or you can also set your custom permissions. As you can see, for the reviews, I've been able to set a custom permission here. It's the review owner. It's not something that is in the Django REST framework. package, but this one you can be able to set your own custom permission, which is really important when you're working on something complex. You will need to add some permissions that are not part of the allow only is authenticated and allow read only. So you'll need to work on something like this. You just need to define the class name, then you use the base permission, then you just return. For this case, we're returning object.user is equal to request.user, which means that only the owner of the review can be able to edit or delete it. So that is the purpose of this, but we're not going to use this one just yet. This one is going to be used when we're adding reviews to our React application. So for now, we're just going to list the movies, so we're not going to use it just yet. So that is it for the permissions, as well as views. We do have our view here. We've talked about that. Then the lookup field. For this case, if you don't want to use the ID, always remember to add the lookup field inside your view set, right? It's really important because we're going to be working with Slug. Then lastly, inside our movies application, we do have URLs. So here, as you can see, I'm using the default router. The default router is really helpful when you want to generate those CRUD views. Then we just register that router with the view set that we've set inside our views.py. Then we just set the URL patterns to router.url. So just know that if you want fine-grained control, then you'll have to go to the manual route, that is of adding all the paths for all those views like we did in our accounts application. So that is it for our movies application. I think for Django now we are good to go. All you need to do is that when you are working with Django and React, you need to install Django REST Framework as well as the course headers, because we are going to React is going to run on a different port and Django is also running in port 8000. So we need to add course headers as well as REST Framework for this case. And since for authentication we are using JWT, just remember to install the JWT. I'm going to leave a link for the code as well as all the descriptions inside my GitHub so that you can view it inside my README for the installation. Also remember to add all your applications here. These are the third party and then the local applications for this one. The logging, I don't need it for this case, so I'm going to get rid of it. Then another important thing is the middleware. You need to add the middleware, right? It should be the first one, the Django course headers, because it's the first thing that is going to be hit before everything. So you need to add it in the first section. Auth user model, we are using a custom user model, so you need to set the model as well as authentication backend. We are using the model backend. So that is it for our Django settings. The next thing that we want to focus on is how to structure our React application. So as you can see, we do have a frontend folder. This is all the frontend and all the React code. So just to give you how the project is structured, you can see that we do have the folder, then we also have the source folder. That is where all the components are going to go. And I've structured it in a way that we can work with different components into different directories, and as well as some utils. This is just for some helper functions. Right now we don't have any, so we're not really gonna use it. For services, this is where we're going to define our APIs. So we have two main APIs right for now. We have the authentication service as well as the movie service. So movie service is what is going to be responsible for making all those requests using Axios. So inside API, this is where we have Axios. So we are importing Axios. Remember to install it before we can actually use it here. So we're setting the base URL as our local host API. So this is the base URL for those endpoints. So for instance, we are going to have like API version 1, then we can have like authentication, movies, maybe later we can have like review. So we need to have like a base URL, which is going to be this one that we've just set. We are just setting up axios.create. So we are setting up the base URL, and then the headers we just set the application stroke JSON, since we want our data is going to be formatted in JSON format. Then we are setting interceptors here just to add those access token and refresh token for logging in. So for every request, we just want to intercept it and add the access token over here. As you can see, local storage.get item, then we just get the access, not access token, it's access, just like that. Then if the token is valid, we can go ahead and set it inside our authorization, then we just return that config. Then we are also just auto refreshing the token when it expires. There's a logic here to just auto refresh to try the refresh when the token has. So inside our authentication service, let's go ahead and look at that. So here we have 3 arrow functions. We have one for registration, login, and another one for getting the profile. So let's have a look at the registration. So this is an asynchronous function for registering, and as you can see, we are using the API service that we just looked in a few. Then the path is going to be auth.register. That is our path, or that is going to be our endpoint to be able to make that request. So it's api.post, then we are posting that data to our endpoint that is going to be authentication, then register, then as well as our email and password. We are going to do the same for the login, where we just store our response and then we just await api.post. API is our service once again. Then in this case, our endpoint is auth/login. So we just do the same. We store the token. For every login, we just want to set the access token. So local storage.set item, and the item in this case is going to be access, then data.access. So that is how we set the access token. Remember, these access tokens are what are going to be used in every login that we are going to make. After they expire, we are going to use the refresh token. So that is really important to set the access as well as the refresh token inside our login. Then lastly, we have the profile. That's going to be the user profile, and also the logout route. So in logout route, we just remove the access token and the refresh token. So that's the logic behind it. Always set the access and refresh token in your login, and then when they expire, we can always refresh them using the API service that we just saw. There's a method that is always going to try to refresh the token after expiry. Okay, so that is it for our authentication service. So let's look at the movie service. So in this case, movie service is going to be one big function that is going to be movie service. Then inside it, you are going to have like get all movies and also get a movie by slug. Since we set our lookup field to slug, we are going to be using slug to be able to retrieve a single instance of a movie. So instead of IDs, that needs to be set in Django to be able to add a lookup field so that you can just get the movies by slug instead of by ID. I think slugs are just a better way to displaying the URLs instead of having movies /1/2/3. You guys understanding it? It's readable, and it makes sense when you have slugs instead of movies, as you will see in a few. So that is our services. Now we can just close this one. So that's it for the services. Now let's go ahead and look at the components folder. But before components, let's look at assets. Assets is where I'm going to put all my CSS. I'm just using the vanilla CSS for now, but you can use things such as Tailwind CSS or even other libraries such as Material UI. For this one, it's just for demonstration, so I'm going to be using vanilla CSS for this one. You can go ahead and style it as you want using any library that you have. So inside components, we do have 4 main components, 3 actually. We do have the auth components, then we do also have the common. That is going to be things such as navbar, footer, and button. And then lastly, we have the movie components. So the idea behind components, these are parts of the application that are reusable. So for example, the movie card, you can reuse it in different components or different part of the application. So components can be reused in any part of the application, but page is just a single page of that application. So that is why I do have the movie card as a component, as well as a movie detail as a component, as well as a movie detail as a page. So we're going to see that in a few, but first let's have a look at the auth. So we have the login form. We are importing the login from the authentication service, just like you saw. Core point of it, this is where we really want to learn how to work with authentication for Django and React. So it's just a function, a normal function over here that is called login page, and we are returning a form here basically, which has some inputs for the email as well as the password and a login button, then just a link for register for users who are not yet registered. So what's happening is that we are just setting the email using the useState hook. We are setting the email as blank, then we are also setting set a function over here that is going to be able to set the email once the user has entered it. Same for password as well as navigate, which is just going to navigate us to the profile page for the user once the authentication is successful. So what we have over here, we do have a func that is called handle login. That is what is going to be for handling our login over here. So to be able to use it, we are just going to set e.prevent default. So we are using this object, this event object over here, then we just preventing the normal behavior, that is to prevent the page from refreshing. Then we are going to use try and await to be able to log in the user, and we're using await here so that we can wait for the logging in to happen. In this case, login is the name of that function that we had inside our inside our authentication service, if you can remember. Then we just pass in the email, the password. When it's successful, in this case, we are going to navigate to the profile page, and when there's an error, we are going to display that error to the user. So that's basically what happens in this case. Then on change, we're just going to set email e.target.value. So this is just going to take, whenever a user types anything, it's going to set that email. So remember our useState function over here, we do have a set email that is going to be a setter function. Then whatever the user is type on change is going to be set to e.target.value. So that's going to be the same for password, set password. As you saw inside our useState, we are going to be able to set our password. So that is it for the login. Most of the heavy lifting was done inside our authentication service. So over here we just use await, and then we just say login, email, password, and then on success we are going to go to profile. When there's an error, we're just going to catch the error and then display an alert. So that is it for our login component. Next we have the register. So that is going to be the register form that is going to handle all the registration. Just as the login, we are going to use the await, then register. And if you remember, we did have the register inside our authentication service, so that is going to register. Then we're just using the useState here to be able to store the initial email that is going to be blank, and also the set email, set username, set password, and also navigate. And this time we are navigating to the login page upon registration. So that is it for our authentication. Let's go ahead to movies and see what's going on. We do have a movie card, so we do have a movie list here, as you can see, and then each movie list has like a movie card. So this is like a movie card. A movie card has like a movie title, the rating, as well as the poster. So let's go ahead and see that in how we're using it in our movie card. As you can see, the movie card, we're just wrapping a link that is going to be the movie URL or the detail page. Then the source is just the poster URL. Then we do have some rating over here, which we will do in our upcoming series on how you can add ratings to our application. But this is just one single instance of a movie. That's going to be the movie card, which has all these fields. The poster, that is going to be movie.poster, or we're just using the conditional rendering to be able to display some placeholder poster here, just in case the poster is not there. Now for these movies, I'm adding them inside my Django backend. I'm not using like any sort of API to be able to do them. I'm just using my model over here to be able to add some movies from the Django backend, and then the React will be able to consume it and display it inside our front end. But we can also use some services such as the MovieDB API to be able to do that. I hope I do that in the upcoming series. So let's go back. That's the movie card. We have the movie list component. So the movie card is going to have all those URLs as well as a link to be able to do that. Then the movie detail is going to be the detail page for the application. So as you can see, we have the movie, the error, as well as the loading. So the loading is this spinner that you can see over here. It's not a spinner really, but it's just a loading text that's saying movies is loading. So we do have the state, the use state for the movie, for the error, as well as the loading. So let's break it down how it's happening. So what it returns here is basically just a spinner. If it's loading, then we are going to display this spinner over here. As you can see, this is conditional rendering. Then if there's an error, we are going to display this error to our users. That is, if the movie fetching was not successful, we're going to display that error. So if there's a movie, so if there is no movie here, we're just going to return null for that case. Then for the movie poster, it's just movie.movie poster. So in this case, just to give you a clear overview of what's happening, we do have our parent component, that is app.jsx, which has all these pages just like that. Then we are setting the routes here inside our app.jsx that is going to set up all routes as well as a navbar at the top. So these routes are what are going to be enable us to be able to navigate to these various pages. Then we also have a class here for 404, which means if you go to a page that doesn't exist, it's going to lead us to the 404 page. We also have a private route here. Now, to be able to render the movies, all we are doing over here is to come to the home page and we are just rendering the movie list. So, and if you go to the movie list component, let's go to the movie list. It's somewhere here. We're just going to map through the movies and be able to render them here. So this is going to be our movie list component. So as you can see that we are using use effect to be able to fetch the movies. So we are just having an arrow function called fetch movies. It's an asynchronous function. Then we're just using movie service dot get all movies. As you can remember, movies service had like a method for get all movies, that is for listing all the movies, as well as get movie by slug. So this is where we are going to get all the movies. So then we just set movies, that is going to be our setter function over here. For the use state, we are setting set movies, then you're just taking the data. That is the response that you are going to get from the get all movies function. Then if there's anything, we're just going to display an error message, or else we are going to display the loading to false. So set loading is just that spinner that you see when the movies are being fetched. So that is it for our fetch movies. And then we also need to set a dependency function. We need to set that dependency function inside here, just like that, and then that will be okay. And now if you go back to our home page, if you refresh, you can see that that works. Our login also works. If you go here, we can just log in with this test user. So that works. We can log out the user. We can create a new user here using our email, password, then you can also confirm the password. So let's add another one. So we can say test user2@gmail.com. then we can set our password. Then we can go ahead and create an account. So as you can see, a new user has been created over here. So we have test user 2. We can log in. You can log in with the test user. Yes, so that is it. That is how we can integrate Django and React, and this also covers authentication and how you can structure your React components. So that is going to do it for our today's video. In our next one, I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step process on how you can deploy your React application as well as the Django application. So this is working locally, so we're going to deploy in something like a DigitalOcean, and also for the front end we can deploy it in something like Netlify, so that we can have a live application with working authentication. And we might also add some features such as reviews and also ratings for our application. I hope you guys found some value in this video, and if you do, just like always, please consider supporting the channel using 3 ways. The first one is that you can support the channel by subscribing to the channel if you haven't. Also, you can like the video, it really helps the algorithm. And then lastly, you can share it with your fellow developers. So I hope this one was helpful, and see you in the next one as we deploy our Django React application to a production server. So that's it for today, and see you in the next one.